Hey, welcome back to Two Stupid Guys Trade Stocks. I'm Dylan.
Vinny?
We just had a huge signal on Friday, and stay with me here. AI is floating the market. We know that. We know that there is a very bad thing that just happened on Friday. So I'm going to put on my conspiracy theory hat. Boom. This could be the turnaround of the market. Stay with me. I understand how that sounds. Two Stupid Guys Trade Stocks. All right. So we've seen this and I get it. Now, to be clear, I'm not confident enough to short the market. I'm not an idiot. That seems horrible. Not doing that.
Yeah.
Very clear. This is clearly a question more so for people who watch our videos because there's some things that are aligning that are not great. All right. We've seen this tweet a million times, huge bubble. Now, the reason why I put this in here is because when everyone is thinking there's going to be a crash, there generally isn't a crash because it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy, if that makes sense. If everyone's like, well, there's going to be a crash, I'm gonna buy things low or whatever, it just doesn't happen. When everyone's like, oh, we are solid, we're going on forever, that's when there's a crash. And that's kind of what's happening right now. If crashes were very easy to predict, we would all be millionaires, right? We would just be like, it's going to happen right now. So the famous be fearful when others are greedy, which is, I believe, what's happening right now, and greedy when others are fearful. There's zero fear in the market, just to be clear.
Yeah?
There's not that much, all right? Now, the reason why I will not be shorting, okay, this is the SPY. It's very healthy. We have not broken the 9. Okay, that's that dash pink. We haven't broken the 20. I'm not shorting. This is just to be aware of. Okay, same with the Qs. We are in a very solid uptrend. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Now this is Nvidia's weekly chart. Okay. Now I'm gonna move my face here. So I've said this. We did a video on February 18th. All right, about how the vast majority of 7 stocks, where almost 40 to 50% of the Qs are so high, they're floating everything, right? There's a large percentage of stocks that are under the 200 moving average. As of right now, a fourth of all stocks are under the 200 moving average, but we're hitting all-time highs. Wild. Fourth of all S&P 500. That's not a great sign when you see, a giant little spinning top like that.
Yeah. I mean, that's a spinning top of spinning tops of all days.
That's a perfect one, right? Here's the actual day, all right? Now, that's obviously a little bit of a red flag, but we have not, it's gone up so much. So the devil's advocate here is, hey, man, this is just a buying opportunity, which is what everyone is saying, which is why I'm doing this video, okay? Everyone's like, dude, they're so high. They just had to come down a little bit. Now, let's look at the Deets here, all right? Let me move my face. All of these green arrows are days in which there was a huge amount of volume down here. Oh, you can't see my, here we go. There we go. See there we go. So you see we threw a ton of volume. Then we have a big volume day, big volume day, big volume, yada, yada, yada. Look how much the stock moved, okay? It moves a lot. It moves a decent amount. Not this much.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, what that means is that this was pure selling. When there's high volume on days and you don't break your average true range, for instance, Nvidia's average true range was $45. So that means they move $45 in a day, which is disgusting, right? And that average is very recent. Okay, that's not forever. They 2.5x that average on Friday. All right. Now, when a stock is tanking and I say, hey, this is massive selling, obviously each transaction is a seller and a buyer. What that means is when you have a giant red bar that has not been seen in the likes of over 7 years, by the way. I went to zoom out, but the stock looks ridiculous because it went up so much. But it's been 7 years since this has happened for Nvidia.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right? Basically, it's just constant selling on the bid. So for a transaction to occur, they lower the price a little bit, then it goes through, then there's just no more buyers going upwards, so it just keeps on going down, 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 down. And you get this giant red bar. Make
That's
sense?
pretty crazy.
Okay,
Hey,
so
can you give me an idea, like, what was the price range that it ultimately, like, opened to close? I'm just kind of curious. I didn't follow it, to be
it was
honest.
I think it was $120.
Oh,
It was
okay.
111, I believe.
Man, I
So
can only
that
imagine, like, some people got probably destroyed with that. It was a big options play for a lot of Wall Street Bets folks.
yeah, it was not good. It looked like it was going to 1,000. Everyone's like, it's going to 1,000 for sure. Now, there's a couple other things that you're gonna be like, hey, why am I talking about Costco? It's all gonna link. It's part of that. I should have had my tinfoil hat. That would have been good.
Yeah. Well, I
Um,
mean, Costco does trade at like well, was trading at a ridiculous PE, like 60 PE, right?
yeah. So basically, they reported earnings. This is Costco. Okay. Memberships were up almost 8%, which is a lot. Okay. So if you don't know Costco, they make very little money on what they sell in retail. Okay. The vast majority of their money, vast majority, is memberships. Their memberships
Yeah.
when it went up 8%. Their EPS grew by 19% without increasing membership since 2017. Okay.
Okay.
So wild. They
Yeah.
slightly miss on retail sales. Doesn't matter. This is the reaction, right? If you type in Costco stock right now and you go to analysts, every single one is saying this is a buying opportunity. Okay? All of them. Same with the video, by the way. Now, Broadcom, same thing. Also
Okay.
reported earnings. Big ass red bar. Pure selling. Revenue is up 34%. Okay. Now, if you take away the acquisition they just had, it was only up 11. It's still great. Their previous quarter was up 4%. And they said this is because strong demand for our networking products and AI data centers. They threw in the AI bomb. Okay.
Yeah.
They
Exactly.
did not increase guidance. Tank City. All right. You following me? This is some analyst that doesn't matter. I don't know. There's a million of these guys. But basically, what I'm trying to say is unemployment rose a little bit. That's what people are saying was the reason for the sell off, which doesn't make any sense, especially for AI companies because they don't need people. They have AI. Um,
They need consumers to sell their product to now.
fair, fair. Today is just profit taking. All right. Described this guy, Brian Price, described the week as a microcosm of the year so far with modest pullbacks and buyers stepping in. Okay.
Hmm.
There's no fear. You're fine. Just buy
Okay.
more, Vinny. It's cool.
Buyers were stepping in at, like, 10% below the asking price, but sure, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were stepping.
Way below. They were just holding on the bid and nothing. Um, I showed this before. I'm going to go through this very quickly so I don't waste your guys' time. This is the sector tractor of the SP 500 index. So you can see right here, you can see over 5 years, they're up 80%. Okay. But everything is vastly below 80%. Everything has been not doing well at all, with the exception of these three categories, right?
Okay.
191%, 73, 63. Then you get into it, and it's just the same fucking seven companies that
Yeah.
are, 876%, 114%. Then you have your Meta, Google, hundreds. Your I actually added Broadcom to this one because it was huge, right? Just massive percentages from these specific companies. Now
Yeah.
let's look at this is the top 10 holdings of the Qs. Okay. You have Apple, who is now below the 200 SMA times 2 weeks. Nvidia just went down 6%. Broadcom, Costco down 7% each. Tesla below your 200, and Google is now at the 200. It's like right there. All right.
Hmm.
This is the time when people should be a little bit worried. No one's worried. Okay. I was looking at this as if like, it's probably fine. It's crazy how short term our memory is, right? It's like, dude,
Of
stocks
course.
only go up. That's fine.
Yeah. That's all they ever do.
So let's combine this with a chance of a recession chart.
Okay.
Now, stocks historically go down during a recession. All right. There are sectors that do better than others, but I feel like Nvidia has to not be one of those. Might be wrong here, but they're fucking crazy. Now this is like a year ahead. All right, so we're up to March 2025, but you can see by May it has a 70% chance of a recession risk, and just to show that this is not like just a useless thing, they haven't called for recession for a year ahead at all for 3 years. Okay,
Perfect.
all right. Let's look at the values here. So you can go up from 2021. Let me move my face. 2021, you see these percentages.
Yeah.
They're all fairly low, right?
Uh-huh.
And you're coming up, just massive percentages up to here. And we're coming up on this in about 3 months.
Okay. I don't know if I believe it, but yeah,
I agree.
sure. The numbers say that, but
The
how
numbers say that.
likely it is?
That's true. All I'm saying, the market's being floated by a very small amount of companies. Okay? And some of those companies are fucking outrageously priced. Nvidia is wild. Okay? It's almost the world's most valuable company in a span of like 3 months. Now, there's still 2 companies ahead of it, but I
Yeah.
believe it crossed 2 trillion very quickly, just out of nowhere, right? So there's zero fear. Now, if you look in the fear index, it's a little bit different. But if you just look at analysts and everyone's saying on this huge pullback that we had, I don't like everyone's attitude. I'm not confident in this, so I'm not going to short at all. I'm just going to play my hands back. Might buy more
Yeah.
TLT. I'm not buying any Nvidia or any Meta right now, but it is something to think about. Just a different perspective. How you feeling?
Yeah, I think it's very interesting. Obviously, there's a lot going on from a macroeconomic standpoint, right? Where we have the Federal Reserve is, been very staunch in saying that we're going to keep rates elevated for a while, and you hear a lot of things anecdotally about consumers that are starting to struggle a little bit, particularly the lower rungs of the economic ladder. But we haven't really seen that manifested in kind of numbers hitting the road, so to speak, and then we also haven't seen that ultimately reflected in company valuations. They still look extremely elevated. So I mean, sure, it's exactly when you don't expect it that things like that happen, but I'm not buying it yet. Put it that
I
way.
agree. It's way too early. We haven't even broke the trend on the SPY or Qs. This is just on the 95% chance I'm wrong here, and I'm not even claiming there's going to be a huge tank. But like if there was, I can point to this video and be like, "I told you so," even though I didn't take advantage of it in any way whatsoever, and it might
Yeah,
as well not have happened. But
it
fun
it
video.
only counts if you put your money where your mouth is, though, Dylan.
I'm not that confident. I'm not going to do it.
Not yet. We'll update this one when we see more kind of information coming forward.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, guys. Let us know what you think. Have a good one.
Catch you next one.